Hey everyone, and welcome to my craft room. My name's Julianne Richards and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in southern Tasmania. Thanks for joining me today. I usually have something here for you to look at. Let's look at this. There you go. We usually something to look at as you join me today. Anyway, in the craft room today, just let me check my sound. Oh, sounds good. Apologies for the last video I did. I'm breaking in a new external mic for my phone, and last time there was a little bit of clicking as it wobbled backwards and forwards, but hopefully I have sorted that problem now so we won't have any clicking this time. Today it's all about scraps, it's all about leftovers, it's all about using your materials to the best of your ability to get the best value out of them. Those of you who've watched me before realise that I have been offering a beautiful, well, I think beautiful, poinsettia red velvet class lately. And the one thing you get when you do a class like this is lots and lots of leftovers. And this red velvet paper is absolutely beautiful. And, you know, let's face it, not cheap. So today I wanted to show you the way that I have used some of my leftovers. So I've got all these to do. I actually cut some more sets this morning, so I've got even more leftovers than I had yesterday. So we're going to be using some of these little scraps here to make some really nice cards. Plus I'm using some scraps of designer series paper as well. So I suppose the one thing about Christmas is we always have leftovers, and leftover turkey, leftover ham, and leftover craft supplies as well. Before I start crafting, a bit of mindless self-promotion, I will show you the class by mail I'm offering this month in December. It's actually not Christmas related because I thought by the time we got to December we would probably all be Christmased out, which I know I definitely am. So the class by mail for December is a fun fold class. And I've got designed 3 cards here, all different folds, using all different stamp sets and dies. So if you buy this class, you get kits to make one each of these cards, and all you have to do is provide your own sentiments and your own adhesives. So obviously with Stampin' Up rules I can't stamp anything, but I do give you sentiment boxes that you can put your own favourite sentiments on there. We have a twisted easel, which I think is one of my favourites, using the poinsettia and peony paper. We've got a crisscross envelope using the beautiful daisies here on the front and the ornate garden paper. And I have and I keep forgetting what this one is called, somebody's going to remind me I'm sure, I think it was called a double point. Yes, a double point card. It's actually quite an interesting card. It's actually got 2 places for your sentiment. It's got one that you can hide up under there and one for inside as well. So, and that uses the dies are from the Forever Fern set, which is absolutely beautiful. So that's the class for this month. As I say, you buy the class, you get the kits to make those, and in Australian dollars that is $22 for the kit for the 3 cards. If you're not watching from Australia and you'd like to access to the tutorial video for this little class, I will actually give you the link to the videos if you want, for the charge of 10 Australian dollars, which I think at the moment is about 7 American. So if you just contact me, I can send you a PayPal invoice, and I can give you the access to the videos for those cards as well. Unfortunately, I can't sell Stampin' Up overseas. Anyway, so one more bit of mindless promotion for my Australian customers. If you buy from me this month an order to at least the value of $50 Australian dollars plus postage, I will let you choose one of these stamp sets. Now these are stamp sets from the upcoming celebration, so they're absolutely new, haven't even been opened, some of them. I got them in my as a demonstrator in my prize preview, and I'm giving them away to my wonderful customers this month. So shop online, use the host code, 50 Australian dollars plus and postage, and I will get you can choose one of these stamp sets. So first in, best dress. So if you see one there that you like, please order quickly because they won't last forever. I've realised I'm just off to the left hand side there a little bit. I'll move over. There's 4 stamp sets and this really nice designer series paper, which is the Oh So Ombre designer series paper. So you get to choose one of those things with an order of $50 or more this month online. Okay, so that's the end of my mindless promotions. Let's get crafting. Okay, so as I say, today we're going to be using scraps, leftovers, bits and pieces, all this beautiful red velvet paper that I've got left from my current class. So I'll show you what I've actually done. I've decided also to get out of my pile of shame, which I think we all probably have a pile of shame. I bought this die set just before Christmas hit, and I haven't actually used it before. It's actually still on its little adhesive sheet. I haven't even put it on a magnet yet. It is the Playful Alphabet dies. So I thought I've seen some really, really nice sort of contemporary cards using the dies and some of the really striking colours of the red. So I've got to put those together and we can make some cards with that this time round. So I've got them all prepared, so let's start. Which one will I start with? I might start with this, the simplest one of the 3 to start with. Oh, ripped my bag. So I haven't got any samples to show you because these are all I'm just doing these first time out. I've used some of my scraps of my beautiful red velvet, and I have cut out from the dies the word joy. So J-O-Y. There we are. So it's really nice. It's a really sort of funky font, these alphabets. It's just it's really sort of, it's plain, but it's quite striking and quite bold. So I've got the word joy written, die cut out there. I also have a thick Whisper White card base, 8 1/4 by 5 3/4, and it's scored in the middle to form my card base. I then have another piece of Whisper White, which I've popped through the winter snow embossing folder, which I'm just looking for at the same time, which is here somewhere, but I can't find it. Anyway, so it's a really nice Christmassy themed embossing folder. It's got these lovely snowflakes on it, which you can probably see from the light in my craft room here. So that is 1/4 inch smaller than my card base, just for that little piece there. Don't let me lose my joy. That would be bad. Bad to lose your joy. And then I've got the middle-sized stitched circle from the stitch-shaped die set, which I've cut there as well. You can probably see where I'm going with this one already. And a very tiny little sentiment box, which I did have another one here that I hadn't stamped already. So just a small sentiment box. Bear with me, I'll find that piece of paper. I can at least stamp this one for you so it doesn't look I've done absolutely everything. Let's stamp it. So with our joy, so the phrase is, I suppose, joy to the world or something like that. So we've got the joy to the world in our current pumpkin, paper pumpkin kit. There is a really cute little to the world there, so you can see that there. So if you've got this one, you can use the to the world. What you can also do as well, if you've got your favourite stamp sets at home that have bits and pieces of you want to steal the sentiment from another set, I'm going to show you very soon how you can do that as well. But thankfully with this paper pumpkin I had to the world there. So I'm going to stamp that in real red just to match our beautiful red velvet. And then we can just basically put this one together. It's pretty simple. So the leftovers are pretty quick. You really don't want a meal from leftovers. It's going to take you as long as the meal itself. So it's good that the cards made from leftovers can be pretty quick as well. Who's come on there? Who have I got? Got Lisa and Sally and Marie. Let's see, I can't see anyone else. Thank you for joining me, everyone who's on. Okay, so we've got To the World there, and I'm going to cut that quite small. I might actually just cut it with scissors, since I do want it quite small. So probably not much more than 1/2 inch wide. Well, I've got something to show you as well, which happened to me this morning. That's why I've got my ruler sitting there. So I've got just a tiny little sentiment box with To the World there in real red. Just before we go any further, I want to show you this. My dear friend Elizabeth, who is part of my team and lives near close to me, hates my ruler. You guys probably have seen my ruler. I'll bring it out now and then to measure cards and things like that when I forget the dimensions. But anyway, she says it's a horrible ruler. She says it's all very, very dirty, and she's going to one day buy me a new one. But today my ruler came to the rescue, because I've actually got, you see there, I've got a magnet cellophaned or sticky tape to the end there, and I lost some dies from the poinsettia dies when I was cutting my kits this morning, and it rolled up under my desk, which is sort of all hidden away and you can't get to it. So I popped a magnet on the end of my ruler, the ruler that Elizabeth hates, and it rescued my dies from underneath my table. So there you go, Mankey ruler to the rescue today. So I'll take that magnet off in a minute and I'll be able to use my new ruler again. But there you go, the ruler saved the day. Okay, so basically all I'm going to do now is just glue this, oh God, what's happened? Somebody's pulled out outside. I reckon we've got a delivery happening. It's all happening here today. Anyway, so I'm going to stick this embossed panel to my card base. Just when I thought it was quiet from the workmen down the road, we end up getting a delivery. So there, I've got that white. So it's white on white, which I think is really, really nice for this time of year. So we've got that on there, so you can see how beautiful. Make sure I've got that in the right place. I seem to be going to one side. Little beautiful sort of snowflakes there, which is really good. Then what I'm going to do is get our joy, which is in our red velvet, and our circle. I'm going to just pop the joy onto the circle. Just with tiny bits of glue, not too much. I'll just pop the joy onto there. It was a delivery too. These days with the virus, they don't wait around, they just dump and run, so I better go and grab that when we finish here. So we tend to leave quite expensive things on the front doorstep. Okay, so I think I've got my O around the wrong way. It's a hard one, this O, because it is actually, I think, very much the same one way or the other, but I might just leave it that way because otherwise I'm going to get my ink smudgy. And then our Y, just our J. And I think the red of the red velvet paper against the white is just lovely. It's very contrasty. There we are. Somebody's just gone and got the delivery, so that's good. It's not sitting out there. Just a little bit too much glue there, so I'll just dab that off. Okay, so then I've got our To the World, which I've just cut. I'm just going to pop that on there, just sort of nestled up under the joy there. But first of all, I'm going to pop that onto our card base with dimensionals. So this is probably the simplest of the 3 cards I'm going to be making today. Just thought I'd start slow, get into the hang of it. Forgive my band-aids. I know I'm usually stuck with band-aids, but I went back to the office again this week, and again the industrial strength hand sanitizer that they've got in there has played havoc with my hands again, unfortunately. So we're all band-aided up again. I might just pop that Joy just off to the left hand side, just below halfway. Then I'm going to bring in our To the World. So I'm going to use a combination of glue and dimensionals for that one. Just some glue on one end and just a little dimensional on the other. Just like that. And I am heading to the left, aren't I? That's weird. My phone must be... Where's the... It's a new phone. I'm still trying to work out where the camera is. So yes, sorry. I have to be a little bit more central there. Okay, so we'll put To the World on there. Like that. There we are. And then I've got some of our beautiful Star Designer elements here, which are a lovely sort of rose gold. And I might just pop a couple of those around as well. Maybe, I always wonder where I'll go, oh, oops, sticking to me here. I might go one down in here and pop another one up here. There we are. So that's probably a nice little simple card there with our red velvet playful alphabet numbers there, letters there as well. So Joy to the World. And then you could pop a nice little sentiment. I know the paper pumpkin set has a really nice little sentiment here. So you can still get the paper pumpkin if you're liking the stamp set here. You'll have that to have, you know, to use well and truly past the Christmas season. It's got wishing you a very happy Christmas filled with fun and laughter. So I might use that on the inside. Grab a nice big block. It didn't have to be that big. There's another block. No, it needs to be bigger than that. I'll take the Joy to the World off there and use this one. Now, I'm hoping my sound is all right because nobody's actually said they can't hear me, which is good. It's a good sign. It means the external mic is working, doing its job. It was a grand total of $20, so yeah, I sort of didn't have high expectations, but obviously it seems to be doing the job today. So give me the thumbs up if the sound is okay from where you're listening. I'm just going to pop my sentiment inside in the real red as well. Here we are. It's a little bit crooked, that one. Okay, so there we are. So that's our first card today using some of our scraps of our red velvet paper. There we are. Okay, so cool. So that's number one. So let's get on to number two. I think number two I'll do is my favourite card, which is this one here. I'm just going to move that up a little bit. I think I'm a little bit low, which means I think I have to move that way. Let's see if that gets a little bit higher. I think that's all right. Okay, so let's just tidy up a little bit here. Just move that up. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I'll just get rid of my stars. So this one here it's a little bit cheeky. I haven't done I saw a really cheeky version of it on a online handmade site, but this one's sort of toned down a little bit. The card I saw on the online site had a swear word on it, but I'll let you guys guess which swear word it was. But I won't be doing the swear word. I'll be doing a cleaner version of the card. And again, we're using some white and some real red, and we're also popping a little bit of green as well. So I have a card base again, which is a Whisper White, a thick Whisper White card base. Then I have a panel of real red, which is 1/4 inch smaller than your card base, so it's quite a large border of white. And then a panel of another panel of Whisper White, which is 1/8 inch smaller than the red, so it's only a narrow border of the red there. So we're going to use this one. And again, I have used the playful alphabet dies to cut out my various letters. And so what this one's going to be is, I don't know, see there, you can see what they all are. See if you can guess what they are before I pop them on there. So I've got a hoe, and this is just very, very plain. It's just the white and the red and the green and a hoe. So obviously ho, ho, ho is our Santa happening. And another hoe, so that's ho, ho, ho. But our last hoe, with some green, is going to be turned, here we go, this is the bit, holy. So I quite like that, like the green and the red against the white. And then we've got cow. I'm going to take that up a little bit by the looks of things, but when we put our glue, so it's ho ho holy cow. And then I'm going to use a stamp set, a couple of stamp sets, to put a little stamp down, a little Christmas sentiment at the bottom. So, and then I've got the stamps, the dies have a little exclamation mark, which I'm going to pop on the end there. So there's not much to that, but I think it's really, really effective with the red and the white against, the red and the green against the white. So I'm going to start popping those on, and you'll see very soon what the little sentiment I'm going to put down the bottom sort of brings it all together. So let's start putting them together. So you can probably guess what the swear word version of this card said instead of cow. It said something probably shouldn't put on YouTube. Okay, so now the trick with this one's going to be lining it up, and I may have to bring my dirty ruler in to line things up properly, but we'll see how I go by eye. Hi Jan. She's working today, but oh, thank you for sneaking off at work. I think, Jan, your days off are Wednesdays, aren't they? No, we were chatting about that the other day. You were doing some crafty Wednesday crafting. Okay, so ho. Now that good thing with our glue is that I can wiggle that straight, or as straight as I can. Joy of handmade. And then here we go again. So these letters are a little bit fiddly, but I think you can see they're really, really nice, really effective. And I will be doing some more videos with them, once we get the Christmas out of the way. They'll be great for birthdays, and there's just so many examples of it out there of great ideas that people have used. And you can use the negative as well, so you can use the positive, which is I'd say the positive are the actual letters that we're using here, but you can also use the negative, which is the cutout, the piece that you actually cut out with the holes. And I've got an example of that in a minute to show you, so you can see what I mean. Hopefully I've lined those up fairly well. A little bit too much glue on that last one. Where did my little wipe go? Wipe. Let's get a new one. Oh, there it is. Yeah. And now bring in the rest of this. I think this is my favourite of the three that I'm doing for you today. I just like the simplicity of it almost. And holy. Yeah, hopefully that's sort of straightish. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Okay, and so I've got a nice bit of room underneath those letters for my little stamp sentiment that I'm going to stamp. And I'll show you in a minute what I mentioned about how to use words from different stamp sets, because I couldn't find the sentiment that I actually wanted to stamp on any of my so many sentiment stamps here, and I just couldn't find exactly what I wanted. So I'm actually going to combine two to give me what I want. So we've got our wording just about done there. There we go. I'll put our little, I might just pop some glue straight on there for that one. There we are. And our little dot, I might just pop that straight on there as well. Ooh, a bit too much. Just use my take a pick tool just to lift that onto there. Okay, so ho ho holy cow. And then I wanted to put something down the bottom like it's Christmas already, or what a year, or something like that, something just to sort of lighten that. But what I found was I found It's Christmas. So I've got two stamp sets here, and I'll show you what I've done. I found a It's that I liked in the Here's a Card. So there's a nice It's down here with this particular sentiment. And then I like the Christmas, it's roughly the same font out of the Arrange a Wreath stamp set. So I've blocked both of those up, and I've covered the bit that I don't want with some masking tape. See, it's a fairly standard sort of technique for only partially stamping the dies. So I've put some masking tape over the Merry on that Merry Christmas, and I've popped some masking tape over all the words except for the It's that I wanted there. So that one there. So what I'm going to do is ink these up, and hopefully I'm not going to ruin everything by I should have probably done it first. Hopefully I'm not going to ruin everything by mucking it up now, but anyway, let's see how we go. So I just want the It's on this one. So what you do is then, once you've got everything covered, you just bring in your ink and ink that up, and then you remove the masking tape from the rest. So you basically take most of the ink off. I'll get rid of that. And then I can basically bring in my It's down the bottom. There we are. Oh, that's worked really well. And then I'm going to bring in my Christmas from my other die set. And I'll try and line that up as well. And the font is really very similar, so that's worked. It should look quite good. There we go. Oh no! Oh, I forgot to take the masking tape off. Ah, bummer. Anyway, you guys see what I mean. I've mixed that up. I'm going to have to make another one. I forgot to take the masking tape off, so I put some of the Merry on there. But you can see what I mean. I've got It's Christmas there. I might see if my rubber will rub some of that off. Where's my mono rubber? There it is. See, not everything goes right in the craft room. I'm not sure that I can. I might have to go give that one a go again. Anyway, so there we go. So I've got holy cow, ho ho holy cow, it's Christmas, sort of, if you forget that bit there. And then I'm going to just layer that up onto our red panel, our red layer, and then pop that both onto our white card base. Let me think, will I do it now? What will I do? I can't really put a ribbon there, can I? Or a bow. or even a rhinestone. I don't know. That's okay. I might actually leave that one and I'll do a proper one for when I take the photo. But as you can see, I'm going to pop that on top of the red and then the whole thing on top of the card base. And that, if I put my finger there, that is my second card. So that's using the leftovers of the red velvet, which I'm going to be obviously using a little bit more of when I redo it again. There we go. So that's card number 2 of our leftovers. I'll pop that one aside. Okay, so card number 3, I'm going to be using not only leftovers of red velvet paper, but I'm also going to be using leftovers of designer series paper. And the leftovers, the designer series paper that I've used is the Warming Hugs paper. I think it's called Warming Hugs. No, Heartwarming Hugs designer series paper. It's for especially for this Christmas. Got some lovely reds and the shaded spruce, pear pizzazz, mossy meadow and real red. So perfect colours to go with our red velvet leftovers. So I'm going to make this one is a square card. This one is a square card. So I've cut a card base which is 5 inches square. So basically you've got a piece of cardstock which is 10 inches by 5 inches and I've scored it in the middle. So we're going to have a square one today. Then I've got a piece of real red. So real red is the theme of today, which is an inch smaller. So that's 4 inches square. And then a piece of Whisper White, which is 1/8 of an inch smaller again. So that is our sort of very familiar today, very familiar card base. Then what I've done is I've got all my leftovers of the designer series paper, because you do get lots and lots of little offcuts. And I've used the stitched triangles to cut triangles. So lots and lots of triangles. Actually, you'll need 14 of the triangles. So that's from the, and I should have left it out. Did I leave it out? No, the stitched triangles. Here we go. Stitched triangle dies, which I haven't used very much. And actually you can tell they're still on their sticky paper as well. Stitched. So I've used the equilateral triangle, which is this little one here where all the sides are the same size. Excuse my maths geek girl coming out. And it's just this little one here. So it's sort of like the third from the smallest triangle I've used. You could go up one size to the next size up, but you're not going to get as many triangles in your design, obviously, if you use the bigger triangle. So I wanted to go for lots of variety, so I've used the smaller one there. Okay, so I've cut 14, so count, I've only got 4 there to show you because I've already started sticking them down. 14 of these little triangles from the designer series paper. So you can see lots and lots and lots and lots of leftovers that you can use in that. So what you're going to take is your smaller white panel and you're going to start just sticking these triangles down and sort of interlacing them with each other. So I'll do a few and then I'll show you the one that I've completed. So to make it easier, I actually started right down the bottom and line it up, the bottom of your triangle with the edge of your card and the bottom of your panel as well, just so it's completely lined up, and then you can build around from there. So then the next one. And when you're sticking triangles, make sure you go right to the edge because they will actually curl up, of course, because they're really skinny. And then the next one, use the same. So you've got, use both sides of your paper, so you sort of can sort of change your pattern around a little bit. And again, and then this one. Okay, so that's a full length of this one. So we've got a little bit that goes over the edge there and a little bit there, so we're going to have to come back and fill those up in a minute. So keep on with your triangles, just building up, building up, building up until you've got your whole panel your whole square covered with your triangle. So you can see there's my square behind there, and I've got bits where it's hanging over the edge. So this is a little bit like the scrappy, what is it? The scrappy strip technique, except this is the scrappy triangle technique. So I've got my little guillotine here, and I'm just going to cut off the edges, the overlap of the designer series paper, just as quickly as just as closely as I can to the edge. And I'm going to use these leftover bits to actually fill in the gaps that I've got where you can see the white. And one more bit. And as I said, then nothing's wasted. I will then use those scraps, which are all stuck on my thing, to fill in the gaps. Okay, so I've got a little gap down here where it's white. I've got a little triangle that needs to fill in here, and I've got a little bit up here. So I'll just pick some handy looking bits that I haven't used too much, like that one. A bit gluey. Yep, I'm going to use this one here. I'll just pop some glue there. And again, I'm going to have to trim off the edge, obviously. That one's there. Yeah, and I've got a little gap up here, just a tiny little white patch up there. So what am I going to use for that? This one. Yep, that works. I'll just pop a little bit of glue there. And I'm going to have to let these dry a little bit, because otherwise they will they'll slip off when I cut them. I'm just covering in that little gap there, and this little one here, down here, is actually the gap between two, so I'm going to need two. Let's have a look. What have I got that fits? That one, go there, and what's about that one? Yep, that works. A little bit of glue there. Oh, the boys down the road have started their heavy machinery again. Didn't quite make it. I was hoping to beat them. So hopefully you can't hear them too much. Okay, so just that one there. Oh, I think I meant that one to go. Yep. Mucked that up, haven't I? Well, that's got to go there now. To find another one. That'll do. There. So I've just filled in the white with the little bits that I'd chopped off the edges, just to fill it in completely. Now you could have cut more triangles and taken your triangles way out past the edges, so that you would only have to just cut. But there, I've just used the least of the designer series paper that I could, and I'm just going to trim those off as well, just in line with my square. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. And those pieces are pretty gluey, so they're going to stick to the scissors for a while. There we go. So there we are. We have a scrappy triangle there. Scrappy strips, scrappy triangle technique there. I'll call that my own. I invented that. There you go. So we're going to use that on our card. So we'll bring back in our card base and our red. So we're going to put that one on top of our red, just like that, and then on top of our white, like that. I really like that. That's good. Hope you like that one. Okay, so I'll do that now and get it out of the way so it doesn't get dirty or something. So I'll pop that straight onto our red, real red. Okay, glue's about to go. And then both of those onto our white. Okay. Here we are. Isn't that cute? That's cute. I like that little background. So that's sort of all those little scraps of designer series paper that we've used to make that little triangle panel there. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the red velvet as well, and I've cut out another Christmassy word. This time I've cut out merry. Yeah. So M-E-R-R-R-R, and here's my Y. So there's my merry there. So I've got a little panel, putting them straight onto there. You wouldn't be able to see them very much because the real red would go into the red, and so you wouldn't see it. So I've cut myself a little panel, and I think this one is 1 inch. Bring in my ruler, save the day ruler. Yeah, basically 1 inch wide, and I think 3.5. Yep, 3.5 inches long. And this is what I'm going to mount my little words on this time. So I'll just get them on. And I'm going to use the same sticky, what's the word? Losing my words now. The same technique that I used before with the masking tape to use the Christmas off this one to put with our merry this time. And I'll show you in a second what I did with the outside of this word, these letters, once I'd finished cutting them out. My glue is coming out far too quickly at the moment. Good thing it dries clear. It's got to that point where it's rushing in big lugs. I have to get a new one. Merry, there's my Y, here it is. There we are, Merry. There we have merry. Y is a bit crooked. There we go. So our merry, our red velvet merry on our old olive panel, and it's just a tiny bit long, so I'm going to cut it off just a wee bit. Yep, that's better. So that's going to go on top of our triangles. As much as I love our triangles and want to cover them up, but it's going to go pop just there on our triangles. Then I've got a tiny little piece of white cardstock. And as I say, I'm going to use, and successfully this time, I'm going to do the masking tape technique with the with the Merry Christmas. So I just want the Christmas this time, so I'm going to cover over the Merry. And remember to take it off. I might do it in black or red. I might do it in red. So I'll use my real red ink. Ink up my stamp. Remove the masking tape. And I'll pop that on here. There we are. So that's what that other one was supposed to look like. There we are, just with the Christmas and not the Merry. So again, we're going to cut that down to size with my gluey scissors. There we are. That's not too bad for scissors. There we go. And I'm going to pop that onto down here with our Merry there. So I just want to show you, when I cut the Merry out of the scrap of real red velvet paper, I actually kept them nicely spaced, so I actually had the sort of negative of it there. So these is where obviously where all the letters have come out of, and I kept the little inserts from the two R's there, which sort of fell out as well. And I've popped that onto a pair old olive cardstock also. So you could possibly use that instead of that, or you could make another card and use that one instead of that one. So you get sort of two for the price of one, which is really quite good, especially when you're using leftovers. So I'm going to pop the Merry up onto dimensionals. There we go. There we are. And finally pop that on there. Thinking, do I bring it over the edge a little bit or keep it on there? So I think I like it on there, so I'm just going to keep it entirely on our little rectangle, our little triangles, and then I'll bring in my small dimensionals and pop my Christmas up as well. And then I'll bring some bling in, of course, need some bling for Christmas. I'll bring the Christmas over the edge a little bit. There we are. Okay, so there's our Merry Christmas there. So using our scraps of our triangles and the scraps of our red velvet. So that's really good. Some bling. What are we going to use? We could just use our stars again, couldn't we? Where did I put the stars? There they go. So we'll use our Christmas stars as well. And pop them one down in here and one up in here. And I should use three, shouldn't I? I'll get told off for not using three. I'll pop another one up here. There we are. Okay, so that's where our Merry Christmas with our scrappy triangles. Okay, so that's our 3 cards today, and we've got our extra piece there that we can use as well. That's our 3 cards. Oh, I was going to show you this one. This was the ho 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 from the second card. So I actually cut that out of the same size strip. So you could actually use that. I'll pop that on, or you could use that on the same sort of thing as this and get an extra card out of it all. Okay, so there's our 3 cards with our scraps. I'm going to redo our Ho Ho Holy Cow after it being my favourite too, and I mucked that up. Oh well, I'll take a photo of. I'll do another one and take a proper photo, and our little very simple joy to the world there as well. So that's my 3 cards today, using the scraps of my red velvet paper and the scraps of my designer series paper as well. So hopefully you enjoyed those. The die set, the playful alphabet, is really going to be handy. So I think I'm going to use that one for a long time to come. So hopefully you like that one as well. As I say, got classes happening at the moment. The Fun Fold class is happening at the moment. If you're watching me from overseas, from outside Australia, if you'd like access to the tutorial videos, just drop me a line, and I'll send you a PayPal invoice for the $10 Australian to get access to those. So, but if you're in Australia, you'd like to do the class, please just drop me a line. I'm still taking orders for the December class, and January's class will be announced shortly when I have a chance to think about it. We've got new catalogues coming up, so if you would like to get your hand on new catalogues, please drop me a line as well, assuming that you don't have an active demonstrator at the moment. I'd love to help you out. But anyway, thanks for joining me today. Have a good weekend, everyone, and I will see you all next week. Okay, have a good one. Bye.